Japan drew a flag. They banked it. And this, which I immediately thought was a British piece, is actually an Italian piece. Foreign offensive, they're in total war. They do get 3 chits. Having a lot of trouble keeping everything in mind. Anyway, what could we do? Well, we could go in big into France. Problem is, we may not be able to win air cover in France, but I think it sounds like our best chance. French are wavering. They could actually collapse from this. So let's do it. We could go against Russia. They're also wavering, but they're not going to get hit as hard. And we're going in with that big +2. We can't redeploy, say, the Air Force over and then attack. You're not. Once you redeploy, those units can't be used on that offensive chip. Okay. Air power. There's no support from the Allies, so it's going to be 2 dice to 2 dice. No additional pieces can come in at +2. It's 8 to 5. That's 1 hit against the Allied forces. That means there's not going to be any air cover. So the Italians did a good job there. You know, conceivably they could have driven them off, but that's okay. All right, now we get 3 dice for the no, we get 2 dice for air superiority. The French. For no air superiority. The French get 2 dice. The fortress, what the fuck does that do? I believe that's a -1, the same, or a +1 or something like that. It's a +1. Okay. And the Allies lose a die. So the Italians are a +2, the French are a +1. 7 to 5, that's a victory. Fortresses cannot retreat, so it's destroyed. The English have to retire to a base. I don't know if they can go out to sea. No, I don't think so. I think they got to go to the nearest base. They'll flee to Lorraine, I guess. I'll look to see if that's correct. But Paris just fell. That's 2 cubes. 2 French, or -2 French victory points, which drops democracy down by 2. 2 Italian victory points, which rises the fascists by 2. Woo! They're doing pretty well here. And French stability test. No penalties, but they only get 1 die. They succeed in the first one. Second French stability test. Italy's getting 2 flags off this, but they don't have any to gain. Good Lord. Stoic French. Okay. Italy is going to reposition. You know what? We don't think the French are going to be able to retake this. Now, this is actually a problem because we might end up out of supply. We'll fall back. Because this way we can try to take Lorraine or Brittany. Now let me check the retreat rules for that air unit. Retreating to a friendly port or airfield, yes. So I can't go near, I can't jump to the UK. Oh yeah, I can. Yeah, but the UK's got 2 planes in it. That's why I can't do that. I could rebase to Denmark or Norway, but honestly, with 2 French planes there, we're going to rebase over to Brittany. It'll get us in better position, and we should have had an extra. We should have had an extra plane in there. These stupid things don't make sense to me. They just don't. I don't internalize all of the graphics to the game. So yes, these are adjacent for air units. They look to me like borders for the sea areas. Just, you know, what one is used to in a particular game. How is France doing in terms of their problems? We would face serious air challenge going into here. If we go into here, there's an interesting thing. First of all, we could throw British air in. Secondly, we'd have armor superiority. Thirdly, we'd be cutting the Russians off from being able to attack the Germans. Now, right now, the Russians are ahead in victory points. We think we can perhaps knock Germany out of the war. Let's see. Well, we'd be better off hitting Berlin and getting 2 rolls against them. But Germans get 3 dice on their rolls. No penalties. Chances are they're going to make one of those. Gosh, I don't know. So that was an Italian action, actually, which Russia could try to jump in, but Russia doesn't want to for some reason or another. Well, they haven't wanted to because they wanted to weaken the Allied position down here. But we don't think, or the Axis position, by letting the Allies do the damage. But of course, if the Allies take this, that undoes the whole issue. We don't have an easy chance at Paris, but we can go in with air support. I'll tell you what, we're doing a French attack. Now, they only get 2 pips. This is the thing I gotta remember. We're gonna send French armor, French plane, or English planes, and we're gonna use the +1, I think. See, the alternative is we could actually launch an attack into Lorraine and start carving into Italy. Technically, we have the advantage in this battle. It's a horrible thing to have Paris. Yeah, we'll do the +1. Okay, so the air combat. 2 dice versus 2 dice. And we're at +1. Six to 2, we do 3 hits on the Italian plane. Well, that would be a triumph if it wasn't an air combat. French, no armor bonus, so both, but the Allies have an air bonus, so they get an extra die. And +1 to the dice. Seven to 6, we barely beat the Italians, but they're going to withdraw. French go in. English planes, I'm not sure they both go in, but there go the 2 Italian victory points. Fascists go down. French go back up. Allies go back up. And that's not going to cause a stability check because it's home. But I believe it does gain flags. Let's check the aftermath. Control's been returned. Just victory points, destroy any logistics, land and friendly units may regroup. We haven't done that yet. Gain flags and conduct stability tests. 523, 524. Okay, we're gonna have a lot of lookups on this, because I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure they gain flags for getting their home area back. So we get 2 flags. We're going to put one there. French went last, so they will not get the trump. We're going to put okay, and stability tests. Shit. Where was I? I think it said something else, but I don't remember what it was. I had the page marked, luckily. 551. Crisis, home front, military disaster, loss of control. So we just lost a home country. No, it's not an Italian home country. This is what I thought was the case. So we do not lose anything stability-wise for losing that battle, even though the French got flags for it. Right. Trumpens. Repositioning the British forces. I believe we can regroup to there, but I'm not positive. To a friendly ports or airfields within range, including extended. No. So we're just as good in Paris as we are in the UK. And what do we want to do? I don't know. I don't know who's going to do what next over here. I mean, the French obviously want to fire their flag off, but they cannot. The US hasn't gotten its massive ability to move. They don't want to burn a flag that they might need for, that they do need for something else. They don't particularly want to provoke Japan into another flag. I think that's a bad idea. Japan's holding their flag for home front. Italy, what does Italy think? Italy thinks its flag is not terribly useful. And France can't do anything. I think we pull from the jet cup. And we get a random US action. US only gets one action off theirs. They're going to do a deployment action so that they can get to the Philippines. They're able to trace through here, so there's no problem with that. There's nowhere else they can go. The British bases are not theirs. I'll take care of that deployment while I'm off camera. To note, I only have one logistics unit in the game. Philippines is a restricted area, so I'm going to need it over there if that's where I'm going to be launching from. So that's going back in the cup. That's how you redeploy forces and logistics units. Just wanted to chime in with that. Move some other stuff over to the Bismarck Sea. Yeah, I know. I said I wasn't going to. All right. Not to the Bismarck Sea. That's British. Wow. I don't have bases. That's the problem. I guess done. Nope. Wow, I really don't have bases. Yeah. This is not as good a situation as I thought it would be. Put some troops down there. I can put an air unit out here in the Marianas. Can't get an army there. Yes, there's room for some ground units, but I'll put that there. And we're gonna redeploy. Let's keep a US ground unit there. Just these guys are in the delay box, but then at the end of the operation check, they come out of it. So the next operation, I mean, it's 2-year terms, so there's plenty of time to get moving. Now the US might want to declare war, but this is not the moment to do so, I don't think. And the problem is what we really want, the East China Sea, not easy to take, but some of the other stuff, like the Carolines, the Marshalls. We do want to take those. That's where we're going to put our fleet for the most part. The Russians got the next action, which was a tank improvement. No big deal. Which means the Americans or the French can now trumpet it. What did I want to do with the French? So here's the question. Do I want to declare war or do I want to try to save France? I think saving France is the bigger deal. I definitely don't want to mobilize France. I got a lot of flags in the cup. I am going to try to propaganda with France. This isn't likely to work. And it doesn't. No. Another chit ball. A French offensive. All right. That's a 2 counter offensive. Do we go after trying to knock Germany out of the war, or do we want to improve our chances of surviving the war? Yeah, I don't know. Let's see if we can knock the Germans out. Now, air range. See, here's the problem. I can't bring my British planes in. They're not adjacent, even though they're better. I could hit here, right? No, that's not adjacent either. That's a sea zone away, and there's no air link between Denmark. Huh. Let's do a +1 attack into Berlin. See what it gives us. And that's using both jets. Germans want to defend the hell out of it. 2 dice each. French are at +1. It's unlikely. Well, it's likely they'll end up with air superiority. But no, we get a draw. A draw is interesting because both sides just lose a unit. There's no retreat opportunity there. Now we come to the ground attack, and neither side has air superiority. The French are at +1. The Germans are down a die because they have armor inferiority. So this is pretty good for France. France gets a 7, Germany gets a 5. The Germans are going to take a hit. They don't want to lose Berlin, which means the French have to withdraw. And I can pull, I believe, regroup an English air unit down there. No, I think not, because we retreated. Oh, was there only 1 air unit there? The Germans can regroup. Woohoo. They will regroup an air unit. I believe regroup is only for the victor, right? Eligible belonging to powers on the regrouping side. Come on. I don't know. You wish they would tell who the regrouping side is, right? Eligible units, see below. Eligible is down here where it says from the target to any friendly ports or aircraft. Okay, you'd think maybe it's here then. Friendly to the attacker may regroup. Oh, I thought the victorious player was the one who was able to regroup. Okay, well. Oh, but I could only regroup into the area. So the Germans actually can't regroup. But they don't need to. They can support it, which is good enough. It doesn't really matter which one of those they're in, except they're in a less offensive position at this point. So that was the French. What's this What did I use the French cube for? I used it for propaganda. Okay. That was an Allied attack. That means the Russians are beginning to feel more powerful. Do we want to trump in yet? We could maybe make it to Berlin. It's a hard slog, but it may be worth it. Yeah, Russia's going to trump in. Now, Japan could try to flag this, but it doesn't really help them. Russia only gets two offensives. Here's the thing. If I head here, I'm making it easier for the French to make their next attack. So if I only use one ship, I may get lucky and keep one in reserve. I'll move 2 tanks in, that gives me the armored bonus. I move an air unit in. Maybe I get air bonus, maybe I don't. I will not have a +1 in combat, but I don't have a -1 either. And we see what happens. Okay, the Russian air unit is defeated. It is allowed to withdraw. Tanks. We have 2 each. The Germans get 1 die for air support, but they lose a die because of armor decrease, and so it's another even attack here. The Russian army is not good. It's taking 2 hits. We'll retreat, so we only take 1 of those and fall back, and that is not a triumph. It wasn't enough hits. I still have a chip left. I could go in again. I do not have anywhere near the advantage that I had. I think it's time to do a Russian redeploy. Move some of my forces around. Notably, get some of my better units out of Siberia and up on the main front too. I don't think anybody wants to trump. 2 dice here. It's a U.S. offensive marker. This is the problem. The U.S. really wants to go to war in order to use their offensive markers. An offensive only produces 1, or mobilize so that they can do other stuff. Like, I don't know what. Like build another logistics unit to have more force so that they can have a lot of power over here. But this does not do me much good. I can redeploy a submarine. Submarines are dangerous, though. They clog up your locations. Now, what I'd really like to do is get a sub slipped into, like, the Sea of Japan. Subs can go 2 from a port. I could get it to here, but I can't slip it into the Sea of Japan, really, without this. I have the feeling I lost my capacity to do anything with this piece. I'm belligerent, so I could try to grab this space. Okay, so we're going to do a port capture for this. In order to do so, we have to roll our effectiveness. Otherwise, we just waste the operation. We succeed. So we sail out here. We're allowed to throw support in. The Japanese could fight us. If they do so, if there are no air or naval units, there's no fight at all and it just falls. But if they throw this in, there's an air combat and there's a naval combat without fleets. If I had a Japanese fleet nearby, I could throw it into the battle. Let's try this. We're going to try bombing the fleet as it goes in there. Okay, so the first part is there's an air combat. Now the U.S. has no advantages here. They only have 1 operation off their offensives. I'm sorry, Japan's not at war. U.S. isn't at war. Yeah, none of this is happening. We can't grab that because we're not belligerent. So I think that there is nothing we can do off that chip. All right. The U.S. can't trigger their go to war option, which means they get another chip that they can't do anything off of. They could run through all their offensives here. Luckily, we're getting a purple home front. So the Japanese get 2 dice, -1. That's not sufficient. Here's what I could be doing. I could be mobilizing, right? Okay. Japan can't go. The U.S. is declaring war on Japan. We're sick of this. It did not work. I can mobilize instead, but yeah, I'm just going to go to war. That's 2 dice. I have a +1 for declaration of war. And we succeed. We have a single operation we can undertake. We could do a long-range attack on the Marshalls. We could attack here, but that would go poorly, I think, because we're out-aired. And this only gives us 1 operation for the declaration of war. Speaking of which, the U.S. and Japan are now at war. Japan's not allied with anyone, so that's no big deal. Japan gets a flag. And who? I think we're going to sail out and capture the Carolines. And we can reposition into here. We're allowed to suck our air unit into the Carolines because it's adjacent. It might have made sense to make an attack against something out here more, say the Marshalls or something, to get more of our fleet into play. However, I like this. We'll see. Like, these may become completely unimportant to my strategy because I was able to fling forward from the Philippines straight out. And that was a U.S. action. Japan has had their mark. They would like to rally, but I think before we do that, we are going to try and gear up to wartime footing. And we succeed. All right, Japan has just gone to total war. That pisses off Russia. Russia's like, well, what? Russia could take this flag. Let me make sure they want it. Yeah, they want it. They need to fix this. Okay. And beyond that, we get 3 more pieces. And our offensives, we get additional offensives, which will probably take 2 of them, etc. Russia's going to trump in, try to fix their political crisis. 2 dice at -1. Even it up. They don't just get into the habit. Make it a 0, but anyway. All right. Does Italy want to trump in? They're the only person left. Political issues. I'm not convinced there's anything I really want to do, although if I could take Paris again, you know, that would be very cool, but I don't. I might be able to do it off an offensive. I can't do it otherwise. Japanese get a marker. Well, I'm going to put that in the East China Sea. That'll make that almost invulnerable because I'll be able to have 2 fleets there and 2 air units, and the Americans will not be able to put that kind of firepower in. So they can do attrition combats on it, but they won't be able to take it very easily. Italy still doesn't want to do anything. We get another crisis. (3-1). Chinese resistance. Japanese still have a cube that's loose in China. This time they lose it. And there goes a Japanese victory point and another victory point off the fascist side. And you can see they got a long way to fall, but and now things are just so randomized by the cup. So there's another crisis. At least we know there aren't going to be any more crises, and the turn's not going to end for quite some time because there's still a pretty full cup. 5-1, political crisis, Führer directive. If Germany has a marker in the reserve, they would lose it. A U.S. offensive. Not exactly what we want. What we want is a flag, but we don't have any more flags, and we're not likely to get one. We want to be able to mobilize. Japanese mobilization, that did not affect us because we were already at war. What do we want to do? We're going to do a long-range attack into the Carolines. 1, 2, 3. And that's just successful. There's nothing. The Japanese can't intervene, which means there's no navies, no air units. Therefore, this just falls. And this is where things get kind of ugly. Like, the U.S. can do kind of what the Japanese did and just grab all kind of shit. Now, they're still doing it at rearmament, which is obviously not optimal. A British offensive. I hope it's British. Looks like it. Brits get 2 pips. Well, that's enough to invade with. We can't use French armies without British ground troops. We could invade Sicily, however, which doesn't sound like a terrible plan. Yugoslavia has air support into there, though. That might not be optimal. No, they have air support into Rome. So grabbing Sicily is a possibility. We could grab Sweden, which gets us some power into here, but that's not really what we want. Yeah, let's go invade Sicily. That sounds like something Churchill would want to do. So we go in, we throw an air unit in support. The Brits get a base of 2 dice plus 1 for the air support. Yeah, they're getting 2 actions. That's one of their 2. I don't think we're throwing a +1 in. The Axis, no armies, so they get 1 die. And that's all she wrote, except it's bad terrain, so the Axis is at +1. Yeah, I was thinking the armor penalty, but no. So the Axis rolls a 6, the Brits roll a 5. That's going to be a hit. Can I retreat from an invasion? Oh, oops. I'm not sure. All right, that's something I'm going to have to look up because there's going to be multiple rules that I have to search for to see if there's a rule that I don't think exists, but may. And that's a common problem in games when you think, oh, it would make sense that you couldn't survive. I'm pretty sure I can retreat, but I'm not positive. Yes, we are allowed to retreat back to the area of origin. So we don't take the hit at all, and actually it's an invasion, so it used up 2 chips. Phew! Yeah. Italy wants to mobilize the Sicilians. I could use my flag to try to create a unit. I don't think that's a useful use of flag, so we'll keep drawing chits. We get a German flag. Germany needs to try to repair their political situation. I believe. Can't see who's where there. Nope. I had a +1 actually, but that's not sufficient. And I think we're going to pause for a while there because I'm feeling a bit of fatigue. My back has troubles right now. The draw, another French offensive. And again, we're in this situation where I think we're going to go into Berlin. We're going to throw both chits in so we get the bonus, because we're going to be at an air disadvantage. And we're hoping to be able to nail at least one of the German planes, if not drive them out. So +1, because we only get 2 chits. And it looks good for us. 6-2, that's 3 hits on the Germans. That is going to kill both the German planes. That's a big difference, because that means we get a 3rd die. We also take a die away from the Germans, and we're at +1. This could be a triumph. This could be the end of Germany even. Ooh, 7-3, that's a 2-1. This must be destroyed. It can't retreat. It takes because all units would be destroyed. It takes an additional hit more than it can take, which means we have a triumph. That means a French flag. Now we're going to get 3 French flags here. We'll put that over there. I think we want that. 2 cubes. As we've taken Berlin. Brings French victory up, German victory down, democracy's up, fascism down to an 8. You can see how quickly that lead in victory points just disintegrates. Is that right? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 minus 10. I don't know if I have the numbers right. I'm going to have to recount the numbers. They look iffy. There's a minus here. Oh, God. Figuring out the victory points by just counting cubes is not good enough. Okay, but Germany is going to have to make some survival checks here. The first one, they're going to have to make 3. 2 for the cubes that were played against them, and 1 for the disaster that they got hit with. Of course, if they hit collapse and don't surrender, they get reset and all the extras go away. So, first one, success. Second one, success. Well, they're not going to collapse. Third one, failure. There's no penalty here like there would be on the home front marker, and they've already had the home front marker, so they're not done. Wow. Okay. I think we're going to see a Soviet invasion of France. Right then. Now, let me go about counting the chits after that French victory. Well, I got the points right. The U.S. got a supply logistics unit, which they threw out into the Philippines. I think this is the best place, most important location to us. This is our only other option, really. well, I guess we could go out here, but this is where we want to focus. We haven't been able to bring reinforcements into play, though. And then the Ruskies get a chip. They get 2 markers from that and want to finish off the Germans if they can. So we roll in with 2 tanks. We send, it doesn't really matter, a plane. We're only going to use 1 of our chips for this attack. We have air support, so it's 3 dice. Germans have 2 dice. They lose 1 due to less armor. And there's no pluses or minuses here. Okay, so it was a victory for the Russians. The Germans have nowhere to retreat to, though. So the Russian army falls back. And we're going to do it again. We can take East Prussia whenever we want, more or less. This is the important fight. And again, same thing. 3 dice to 1. No bonuses. 6 to 5, that's enough to defeat the German army. That'll get us a red cube. German fleet is going to flee up to Sweden. Germans lose another victory point. Ruskies gain 1. We get a Russian flag for capturing a German home area, which I think we'll put there because we need to go to total war, or maybe go to war with the Allies. I'm not sure which. And Germany gets to make 1 more failure check for the loss of a home area. This one could send them into collapse. It does. Okay. Now, for the first time ever for me, I get to make, maybe I got to make one before. I think I did. In a different game, but I get to make a surrender check. And for that, I got to find the right rolls. Over here, what are my odds? Well, it's actually under there. Each neutral, opposing, or enemy cube in its home areas, or colonies with victory points. But that's 1, 2, 3 cubes. Yep, so that's +3. They have 0 or fewer victory points. That's +4. Their commitment is not exhaustion. So I roll a die. If I roll a 5 or a 6, Germany collapse, which means they stay in the war. Well, they still sue for peace, but if I roll a 1 through 4, Germany's surrendering. They collapse. They've done this before. Each enemy power gains a flag. That's Britain, France, and Russia. I think the Brits want their flag. I consider this. And let's see. We keep going. They will not have any more stability tests. They go back up to wavering, which is quite good, actually. If they had a reserve, it would go back. Their cubes are removed from failed political action boxes, i.e., it's a new government, you know, it's not ready for this. An effectiveness check for each area containing their cubes where they don't have land units. That would be Sweden. No, Germany's almost destroyed. They have Bavaria and East Prussia. If they were completely overrun, they would surrender. They get to keep Sweden, though, as an ally, for whatever that's worth. Their allies have to make a stability check. That would be Italy, 1 die. They fail. All right. They must offer an armistice to enemy players. Russia does not want it because they still have East Prussia to take, which means they can drive them back down further. The Western Allies, I think they will take it. So, get this out of here. And that is the US and Japan are at war. And Britain and France are still going to be at war with Italy. The German alliance with Italy was gone. It has to be no matter what, even if the armistice was not accepted, they would still be knocked out of the alliance. Whew. And that used up both my attack chits. That means we can think about these. Do I want them? First of all, the Russians definitely wanted theirs. Do the Brits want theirs? The Brits want theirs as well. I don't know that the Brits want to go to total war yet. And they have their stability. I don't know. I mean, total war would give us more stuff. We're unlikely to actually crash. But I think we can hold the flag there. So we're not going to trump in. The Russians can't trump in. Italy can. They'll do a propaganda action with Il Duce. But things don't look good for them. Their stability goes up. Let me get the flag back. Right then. Russia has the opportunity to do something now. Russia could go to total war. Or we could just start rolling into France. Yeah, we're going to declare war on France. Oh, we have 2 propaganda shit. We're gonna propaganda. Because we got a +2 to the die roll. Well, +1 net. Good enough. Because we don't want to collapse during the war. Although it's unlikely. And I don't know what I just did. Where did I put that flag? I hope I put it back there and not in here. I don't see it in there. But I thought they had. I don't know. Certainly it wasn't their 3rd flag. Britain will stand. France could do something. France could do a propaganda test. You know, they're going to. Oh, crap. Yeah, it's a tiresome time for me. They're at +1. That's not good enough. They get another cube. Right. Oh. Are we right? I think we are. Okay. So it's time to pull a chit. And the words cube and chit are interchangeable in my world. And this is either Italy or Britain. It's Italian infantry. Jeez. We got a 2-front war going. Now, Russia could actually create an armistice with Italy if they wanted. They feel like they don't yet. They may need to attack Italy. Italy feels more threatened by the Allies, but there's nothing they can really do about it. I am going to throw my troops. Hey, I could defend against that invasion or against the Russians. I don't know. I'll put it down here in Sicily, I guess. It's not the wisest place, I don't think, but whatever. Britain's still not doing anything. We get a French flag. They probably want to play this and try to fix their political state. Hey, we win. Okay. Another crisis. There's way too many chits in there to even worry about. Although we could examine them all, which is kind of an interesting thing. Italy's home front. Italy gets 1 die. I can't think of any penalties other than the -2 for being at total war. We get a 2. We're down. It's the best we could hope for. French home front. Nope. French home front. There's 1 die. Oh, Italy could have repositioned. They want to. They want to get their air force into Lombardy, where they can defend both Yugoslavia and France. They're trying to hold on as best they can right now. The French home front roll is not a success. There's no such thing as a success. Well, there is for France. They're not in total war yet, but not there. But they get to reposition, and that's important because now I can shift my forces to better face Italy. I have to worry about Russia, though. Russia has a flag available and will probably come rolling into us if we're not careful. Then again, maybe they just want to go plowing into Austria instead, through Czechoslovakia, etc., and try to get a lot of cubes down off the Italians. Forget about something. Germany is at exhaustion. They keep the same troop strength since they never reached total war. However, their capabilities go down to a 2. Now, I drew a German offensive. What the hell are they going to do with that? They can build troops. They cannot build troops. They do not have a home factory. There really isn't much they can do. I don't know. I honestly don't know what to do with them at this point because they've lost their 2 factories, so they're not able to build anything anymore. And they're not in good shape at all. I don't have an idea. Okay, so it gives me 2 chits. I can maybe take Czechoslovakia and get a build off that later. But right now, I'm going to use my navy. Sail 1, 2 areas. No, I can only send 1 ship. 2 areas to attack the Russian Navy in Leningrad. This is allowable. I'm going to boost that with a 2nd activation. I'm hoping to destroy the Navy. And I have never done this. Let's see. Edit disallowed. You can sail into land areas and have naval combat, I guess. Each side gets, nobody has any planes. Each side rolls 2 dice. And because I augmented, I get a +1, but I should have one of these limited supply markers because I can't trace back to any supply source. There's no factories that I can trace to. So it's a straight up even roll, but if I get lucky, I don't know, maybe I get a flag or something. And I do get lucky. I get a 2-to-1 hit. The Russians have to take that hit. I can't stay here, so I withdraw back. But that counts as a triumph, which means I get a German flag. I don't know what I can do with that, but we'll put that over there. Try to improve stability, but I mean, everything's kind of pointless at this point for the Germans. They're pretty damn useless. Maybe Italy will save them. I don't know. And Russia, who always gets 3 dice on these, gets to make a test. What happens when the German Navy steams into St. Petersburg and blows up the Russian Navy? And they shrug it off. It's just boats. Okay. That was a German action. That means only the Brits can pull the flag. The Brits don't want to pull the flag. We get a U.S. home front. We fail it. However, we get to do a redeploy. This is actually pretty big for us because this isn't filled up and there's a lot we can do and it's kind of cool, except for losing the stability. Germany, although out of the war, is allowed to pressure someone with their flag. That may be their best option right now. Because German stability, well, Germany might surrender, which would be problematic, but not necessarily that terrible because it could actually keep us in second place or something in the game if that happened. So I think we're going to actually trigger that. We only get 2 dice now because we've dropped down. Who do we go after though? That's the question. Do we want Italy to have a flag to help improve their stability while they fight? Or do we want to help Japan get a flag, which I'm not quite sure what they can do with it right now. I think I'm going to go for the Italian flag. And nothing comes of it. But it seems like a useful chit pick. And that was the German flag there. All right. A French offensive. Good God, I don't know what to do with that. That's a 2-chit offensive. So we're going to use it against Italy. Italy has a lot of chits here. We're probably not going to be able to drive them out, no matter, what kind of dice we get here. There's some possibility we'll get knocked out, but I would rather use the infantry. I'm going to bonus it to +1, and I'm going to bring these British planes in. Italy, do they want to? Yeah, sure. Why not? It's not, why give up air superiority without a fight? Yes, the Brits get a +1 to their die. Which makes it more likely that the Italians are going to lose, but so it's 6-6. Both sides take a loss. Strategic bombers take 2 to create, so I'll take it off a regular plane. And now the French are going in there. 2 dice +1 for the British air support. The Italians have 2 dice, and both sides are a +1. The Italians for the terrain, the French for the augmentation. 6-6. Both sides lose a unit. One danger there is that the French could have lost 2 units. Again, augmentation's more expensive. No reason to keep that infantry there. The French don't have anywhere to retreat to. The British will fall back to the Lorraine. Brits can definitely not trump a U.S. offensive. One operation offensive. Good Lord. I can't throw all my forces into the East China Sea. The Japanese can throw more forces in. This is a problem. But that's clearly where we want to go. Unless we want to just grab another base here. Which is not unuseful, because we can start shipping troops in and fighting in China for the cubes that they have there. Hey, why not? All right, let's do the offensive. Let us move out of the Carolines. 1, 2 to here. And we got to throw our Air Force in. We can only throw one in. The Japanese can oppose this. Do they want to? I believe so. I'm not positive of this. Okay. So first there's air combat. U.S. They're at even. U.S. doesn't have any bonus there. U.S. gets a victory, so the Japanese planes flee. Since there were planes there originally, I believe there's a naval combat no matter what. But U.S. has air support. Japanese do not have the carrier advantage, or have the lack of carrier advantage. And that's it. 6-4, the Allied fleet wins. I would have had to look things up if the U.S. lost anything. And we'll take this base, and since I'm running out of bases, we'll move this over there. Again, I like the counters because they help pop out a little bit better. And it's particularly important, you know. So if there are fleets operating and something is over like that, I got no idea there's a base there. By putting the counter there, I know that there's a base there, and it just helps me visualize what's going on. That was a success, nothing major. The American plane, I'll move to here, because that way I can intervene in more places. Maybe not, because I can intervene in Guangdong. Over there, nothing exciting happening. It's a Japanese offensive. Good God, I don't know what that means. Japs are at total war. That means they're going to get 3 operations. Wow. Let me think. All right. I am going to use 2 of my operations, 3, to give me an augmented attack into the South China Sea. Not with that. With this. I don't understand air range for, let me see how that works in a naval operation. Oh God. Only into adjacent. And a naval operation is only fleets and strategic air forces. So I can bring this air force with me because it can fly 2 areas, which gives me something I prefer. This could actually be a base capture though instead of a naval operation. Let's see. Well, I don't know what the hell it's called. There it is. Base capture naval operation. So it's not just a normal naval operation, it's a base capture, and that works fine. Okay. So, again, we went in with a +1. U.S. can't intervene with anything because this space is full. So we're looking at, I want to use the red dice for the Japanese because they're red in a lot of games. 2 dice each for the air combat. Japanese are at +1. They get a 7 to a 5. The U.S. retire their plane. Now I've got air support, so I get an extra die. We're equal on carriers, but I'm at +1 for the augmentation. 6 to 5. The U.S. is going to take a hit there. I can't retreat here. I got to retreat to the nearest friendly base. Well, other than this. So I can retreat through here into the Western Carolines, and the Japanese have taken that. But nothing exciting happened in terms of other than changing ownership. What about these? I am going to pull them back to the East China Sea. I'll be able to intervene into the South China Sea if I so desire. And we're on another chit pull. I'm gonna put a die here because my back is fucking killing me. 46A at this point. Yeah, it looks like it. There's still a fair amount of chits in here. Once the war starts, and there's lots of stuff in there, there's a lot of chance for the turn to be going. We're in sudden death. It is possible somebody has very few chit. It's not possible that everybody has very few chits. So I'm trying to think, because there's a lot of people who have, who are down at, mobilization, which is 3 chits. And I think it's 4 for Total War. I don't remember. I don't feel like looking it up. I'm in a lot of fucking pain.